Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a really interesting listener question. It's about transgender rights on Indian trains.
That's right. Things like, can they legally get on a train? What are the rules around, say, ticketless travel?
And also this tricky issue described as forcing money from passengers. We want to sort of unpack the legal side of the social context here.
Exactly. Our mission really is to shed light on how you have these strong legal protections for the community,
Right.
but also how certain laws, well, they just apply to everyone universally. It's this mix of rights and responsibilities we're exploring for you.
Okay, let's jump right in then. First things first. Can a transgender person legally enter a train in India? What's the baseline here?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Unequivocally, there's no law preventing it. In fact, denying entry would be a violation of their fundamental rights.
And this clarity, it wasn't always there, was it?
No, not at all. The real game changer was the Supreme Court's Nalasa judgment back in 2014. That was huge. National Legal Services Authority versus Union of India. It legally recognized hijras, eunuchs, and others beyond the binary as a third gender.
Okay.
And it affirmed their right to self-identify their gender. Crucially, it extended constitutional rights equality under Article 14, dignity under Article 21, to explicitly include gender identity.
So a landmark legal foundation was set.
Precisely. And then Parliament built on that with the Transgender Persons Act in 2019.
Right, the Protection of Rights Act.
Yes. And that act specifically forbids discrimination against transgender people in accessing public facilities. That includes trains, public transport, goods, services, the whole lot.
And Indian Railways themselves, they've updated their systems too, haven't they? I remember reading about ticketing options.
They have indeed. They first added transgender as third gender and then refined it to just a standalone T.
Just T.
Yeah. Which shows, a real move towards accepting self-perceived identity institutionally. It's quite significant progress on the policy front.
Okay, so the right to be on the train is legally very clear. But what about the next part of the question, ticketless travel?
Ah, yes. This is where the principle of universal application comes in.
Meaning the rules are the same for everyone.
Exactly. The Railways Act of 1989 is very clear. Sections 55 and 137 specifically prohibit traveling without a valid ticket or pass.
And this applies regardless of gender identity.
Absolutely. There are no exceptions based on gender. If you travel without a ticket, the penalties apply. That means paying the fare you should have paid plus an excess charge.
Which is, what, about 250 rupees minimum?
At least 250 rupees, yes. The law doesn't differentiate here. It's the same rule for every single passenger.
Okay, that's clear cut then. Now, the third part of the query, this idea of forcing money, that sounds quite different from just asking, legally, how is that viewed?
It is very different. What the listener seems to be describing potentially falls under extortion in the Indian Penal Code, Section 383.
Extortion, so not begging.
No. Extortion is defined as intentionally putting someone in fear of injury, specifically to dishonestly get them to hand over property, like money.
And that's a criminal offense.
Oh, yes, a serious one. Section 384 lays out the punishment: imprisonment up to 3 years, or a fine, or potentially both.
So the key is that element of fear or coercion.
Precisely. That's the legal line. Begging, while it's a complex social issue, and some aspects have actually been decriminalized in places like Delhi by courts.
Right.
It doesn't typically involve that element of threat or fear of injury to compel payment. The laws against extortion apply universally to anyone who commits the act.
So again, a universal law applied equally. But you mentioned at the start this nuanced interplay. We have these strong rights, these universal rules. How does the social context fit in? Why do these specific issues sometimes arise?
That's really the crux of it, isn't it? Despite the legal progress, which is undeniable, there's still significant social stigma and discrimination that transgender people face.
Like in finding jobs or housing.
Exactly. You hear stories, examples, like transgender employees hired for projects, say in Kochi Metro, who then struggled immensely just to find safe housing nearby. That kind of marginalization, that economic hardship.
It can push people into difficult circumstances.
It can, unfortunately. It can create situations where individuals might resort to behaviors born out of economic necessity, even behaviors that might cross legal lines. So while the law on extortion or ticketless travel is applied universally, understanding the socioeconomic pressures, the history of marginalization is crucial for seeing the whole picture. It adds that layer of complexity.
Right. So pulling it all together for our listeners, this deep dive really shows that transgender individuals in India absolutely have the legal right to access trains, just like anyone else. That's protected.
Definitely. But at the same time, laws about conduct on those trains, like needing a ticket or the prohibition against criminal acts like extortion, those apply equally to everybody.
No exceptions based on identity for those rules.
Correct. The challenge, the bigger picture, is really about bridging that gap between the strong legal rights on paper and the lived social realities, the ongoing fight against stigma and for true equality in practice.
So what should you take away from this? It's maybe a reminder that legal frameworks are essential tools for building a more equitable society.
Vital tool.
But real-world change, that deep societal acceptance and understanding, often takes more time and, well, continued effort from everyone. It's not just about laws, but about minds and hearts, too.